So here we are, foreigner marriage and divorce on Brazil. Let's get it started. Okay, so we are here, foreigner marriage and divorce in Brazil. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Akio, and I'm a lawyer here in Brazil, working especially on the family law. And today I'm gonna talk about this because since 1980s, Brazilian Japanese descendants have been going to Japan looking for a better work or a better condition of life. Okay, and they are called bekasegi, the same way Japanese who came to Brazil looking for better conditions of work and life on the beginning of the 20th century. So they go to Japan and they spend more than a year there. And it's not rare, it's very common that they marry other Brazilians or foreigners, like Japanese or other countries' people. So what's the difficulty here? They don't understand some of procedures to officialize the marriage or the divorce. So, what's the first step we need to do? First, we have to register the marriage at the prefecture where the bride and groom are living. What does that mean? Well, suppose that this is all fictional. Suppose that Mr. Marcelo Sato is on Nagoya City, okay? And there he is working and spend more than 3 years. On these 3 years, he meets a girl named Toshiko Ito, and they decided to get married. So the first thing they need to do is go to the prefecture of Nagoya and register it. After that, it's officialized on Japan, but not on Brazil. They need to communicate the Brazilian consulate on Japan. On Nagoya City, there is a consulate. So, okay, it's easy for them to do it. After that, the Brazilian consulate will communicate the Japanese consulate here on Brazil. So, with this, they are finally married. No, to Brazil, it's not officialized yet. They need to register here on Brazil too. And how do they do this? They need to register on the Brazilian Civil Registry Office. So do they need to back to Brazil to do it? No, they can request it to a law office. And why do they need to do it? Because here in Brazil, the foreigners' documents or certification need to be validated, and the way we have on the law is registering it on registry office. Okay. Uh, okay. I was saying that we need to register the marriage certification. Why we need to do it? Because to officialize any documents from abroad, you need to register it so they can be validated and you can freely use this document here. This is for all documents, not only for marriage certification, okay? And we call it transcription here in Brazil. This is the first step. So you can have your marriage officialized in both countries, on Japan and on Brazil. Okay, so next we are talking about divorce because this is the most difficult part for people. I know it's very hard to make contact with your ex-spouse and it's very hard to talk with him, but please, this is very important. You need him on the divorce process. So first, you need to know if you have children, you have to open a lawsuit of divorce, so you can discuss about your children, about what you left behind. Okay, you do that on Japan if you are married. If your marriage certification is from Japan. Okay, if you married here in Brazil with a foreigner, you do the divorce here in Brazil. This is the rule. So let's back to Mr. Sato. He married on Japan, and after 3 years, he has a lot of fights with Mr. Ito, Mrs. Ito, and they decided to divorce. So first thing they need to do to divorce on Japan. If they are okay with everything, they can do it directly on the prefecture. Okay, but if they have fights, they will have to enter on a lawsuit. And with this, we have two kinds of divorce. First one on the prefecture, the second one on the court, justice court. Okay, and what we have to do here in Brazil, if they don't have any problems and was made on the prefecture, they can do it directly on the civil registry office. Okay, we have a lot of documents we need to show, but I'll talk about it later. First thing to know is you can do it directly. You don't need to open a lawsuit. Okay, but if the divorce on Japan was made on a lawsuit, we need to validate it on Brazil on the Superior Court of Justice here in Brazil. It's not very difficult, but this is the way we had to validate all the documents. And you need to transcribe your marriage before you validate your divorce. Okay, people have many difficulties. So to make it simple, I made this timeline to understand better how you marry or how you divorce on Japan and after how you officialize it on Brazil. Okay. Well, this was very fast, I guess, but this was my presentation. I hope you all like it. What somehow help Brazilians and Japanese people to those procedures. It's very common to Brazilian marry someone from Japan, especially people from South Asia. I I had an experience where a Brazilian married a person from Nepal, and my lucky was that they still communicate very well, so she could divorce with not that difficult. I could do that on 2 months, but that's not the rule.
Uh-huh.
What's more common is the person who fights and you can find your ex-spouse and you have difficulties on your divorce. You can find the person. You need their declaration of knowing that the divorce will be validated here in Brazil. That's why I told earlier before that it's better not to fight and try to communicate until the end of the divorce because you need him or she or her.